Hello, good morning and Jai Hind bachcho. In the last class we are discussing that how to pass the entries when it is related with the bank transactions. In this particular series we will continue the same and we will learn how to pass the opening entry and how to pass the compound entry also. So we had discussed till till question number 19, till point number 19, how to repayment the bank loan. When insurance premium is paid by check or bank, so when we are paying insurance, that is actually what? Actually it is expense for the business. That's why it is debit. Okay. Now, when bank is paying your insurance premium, bank will decrease your account. And when bank will decrease your account, bank will decrease your assets. It means it will be debit to credit. Check received from Ram on January 10. Again I am telling you, you receive the check on January 10, but you deposit the check on January 12. Or you endorse the check on January 12. So beta, whenever the check is not deposited on the same date, we always open the check in hand account. So check in hand, because check is coming in the business. Who had given? Ram had given the check. So debit what's coming and debit the receiver and credit the giver. Okay. Now check received from Ram is endorsed to Mohan. So whatever the check you have, now you are giving the check to Mohan. Who is receiving the check? Mohan is receiving the check. So Mohan debit. And what thing is going out from your business? To check in hand. Okay. Now, if endorsed check is dishonored, then debtors become again debtors, creditors become again creditors. Who was debtor? Ram. So Ram will be again debit. And Mohan was creditor beta, so again it will be what beta? Mohan will be credit. Now you can say, sir, you said that on the time of dishonor we pass the opposite entry. So how we can prove this? How we can say this, that on the time of endorsement also opposite entry will work, because dishonored means cancellation. So beta, you see here, when you receive the check, what entry you pass? Check in hand account debit. Check in hand account debit to Ram. And when you pass the Ram check to Mohan, endorsed, so Mohan is receiving the check now. So Mohan debit to check in hand, because check in hand is going out. You can see that check in hand account is debit, check in hand account is credit. It will cut each other, and what effect is remain? Mohan debit to Ram. Mohan debit to Ram. This will only remain, and we are knowing on the time of dishonor we just pass the opposite entry. So we will pass the opposite entry and it will be Ram, credit Ram to become Ram debit, and Mohan debit to Mohan for dishonor, opposite entry. So how this entry comes in the nature is by this explanation. Okay. So when we receive the check, check in hand account is debit. When we endorse the check, check in hand account is credit. Check in hand debit, check in hand credit will cut each other. And what remain? Only the thing which is remain is Mohan debit and to Ram credit. And this entry will frame the final effect as Mohan debit to Ram. And when it is dishonored, just pass the opposite entry and Ram will be credit to debit and Mohan will be debit to credit. So these all are the transaction what we can pass on the time of banking transaction. So what we will do, we will solve a simple question on this and we will see how the transactions are happening. So let's first clear it and bring the question. We will learn each and every transaction. Number 1. Paid into bank for opening a bank current account. So beta, what thing is there? You are depositing the check, depositing the cash in bank. Who is receiving the cash? Bank is receiving the cash. So debit the receiver. So bank account debit 30,000. Okay, and from your business, what thing is going out? Cash is going out. Debit what's coming, credit what's goes out. So to cash account 30,000. Now second one beta. Withdraw cash from bank for office use and personal use. So you are totally withdrawing how much? Total withdrawing you are 5 plus 1, 6,000 rupees. From where? From bank. Okay. So when we withdraw anything for personal use, that will be considered what? That will be considered as a drawing. So drawing account debit. How much beta? 1,000. And at the same time, you can see that we withdraw the cash from bank for office use. So in the office, what the thing is coming? Cash is coming. So cash account debit 5,000. And who is giving all that? Bank. Debit the receiver and credit the giver. So to bank account, total bank is giving how much beta? 6,000. So first and second transaction, you understand this? Third, January 5. It is January 3. January 5. Bought good from Ram and paid the amount by check. What thing is coming in the business? Goods. Okay. So purchase account debit. How much? 4,000. And you are paying the amount by check. So always remember, whenever we are paying the amount by check, account transfer, instead of opening the cash account, we will open the bank account. So what thing is decreased beta? Our bank. And bank is what? Assets. So when bank will decrease, bank will be credit. Okay. You can understand like this also, that goods are coming in the business, debit what's come in 4,000 rupees, and who is giving the amount? Bank is giving the amount. So debit the receiver, credit the giver. So bank will be credit. January 9. Taken a bank loan. So what thing is coming in your account? Money. So bank account debit. Look, when you take the bank loan, your bank account will increase. Why? Because whatever the bank loan amount you will take, that will be transferred in your account. So your account increase, so bank account debit, because your bank account is receiving that amount. And bank loan is your liability. Bank loan is your liability, and all the liabilities are credit. So to bank loan account. How much? 20,000 and 20,000. Bought goods and paid by check. So when you purchase the goods and paid by check, very simple. Again, bought goods, goods are coming in the business, purchase account debit what's coming. You can see also if you're following the nominal account rule. So bought goods, it means as per the rule, bought goods means you are doing expense. All expenses are debit and you are making the payment by check. So to bank account. How much beta? 8,000 and 8,000. So any problem in that? I think it is simple. paid into bank for opening a bank account. Bank is receiving the cash, so bank account debit to cash because cash is going out from your business. Drawing account debit, cash account debit to bank. You withdraw drawing 1000, you withdraw cash for business 5000, and total bank is giving how much beta? 6000 rupees. So I think it is clear to you. Let's proceed for the next part of this question. Sold goods to Ram and receive a check. Generally deposited on the another day, we will write down the check in a different way, and that is known as check in hand. So beta, what thing is coming on 15? On 15 it is coming sold goods to Ram and receive a check. So check in hand account debit. How much? 12,000. And 2. Ab here name is given, but I told you when it is a cash transaction, name will ignore. So what thing is going out from the business? Goods, and that is your revenue. Sold goods to Ram. So you are generating revenue, and revenue is what? Credit, because all the losses and expenses are debit, and all the profit and gains are credit. So to sales account, how much? 12,000. And when on 17th you deposit that check into bank, who received the check? Bank received the check. So bank account debit, how much? 12,000. Ab amount is not given, don't get confused. Okay, amount is not given, don't get confused, because it is all about the previous one. The previous one is 12,000, so this amount, check amount, is also 12,000. So bank account debit 12,000 rupees, and from your business what thing is going out? Check in hand account 12,000. Okay, so 15 is check in hand account debit to sales, because you not deposited the check on the same day. That's why we open the account check in hand, and it is received for sales. So check in hand account debit to sales, and on the day of 17th, when you deposit the amount in the bank, when you deposit the check into bank, so bank is receiving, so bank account debit to check in hand account, to check in hand account. Now beta 25, withdraw goods for personal use. Before that 20, paid salary 3,000 and rent 2,000 by check. So how much payment is done by bank? 5,000. For what? Salary and rent, and both are expense, and all the expenses are debit. So salary account debit, rent is also expense, so rent account debit to beta, who is making the payment? Bank. So to bank account. Salary is how much? 3,000, rent 2,000, and total bank is how much beta? 5,000. Now January 25, withdraw goods for personal use. So when beta it is personal use, then it will be drawing account debit, how much? 4,000. 2, it is withdraw of goods, so to purchase account, how much? 4,000. And now January 28. January 28 is repaid bank loan and paid interest by check. Okay beta, so what transaction you will do? Just tell me what will be the entry for repaid of bank. Dekho beta, bank loan was liability. Bank loan was earlier what? Liability, because it is our future payment, and now we are making the payment of bank loan, so we are closing this bank loan. And how liability can be closed? liability was always credit, and how liability can close? By making debit. So bank loan account debit. Now paid interest by check. So when we are paying something, it is our expense. So interest account debit. Bank loan will be debit because we are closing bank loan. Bank loan was liability. Liability is always credit. And when we close any liability, we have to make it debit. So bank loan account debit. Second one is what beta? Paid interest by check. So you are paying interest. It is expense for you. So interest account debit. 2. Whosoever is making all payment, your bank. So to bank account, debit the receiver, credit the giver. Total is what beta? 5,500, and total payment done by the bank is 5,500. January 29. Check received from Mohan 950 in full settlement of his account 1,000. So you have to receive 1,000, but how much you receive? Only 950. From who? From Mohan. Okay. You can see that Mohan check is not deposited on the same date. How we can say this? Because on the next day, January 31, Mohan check is endorsed to Gopi. So instead of bank, we will write down what? What? Check in hand account. So what thing is coming in the business? Check in hand account debit. How much? 950. We have to receive how much? 1,000. We receive only 950. So how much discount we allowed? How much loss we have? So we have discount allowed account debit 50. And 2, beta, who is giving all that? To Mohan. So to Mohan 1,000 rupees. Okay. Now the last transaction. Last transaction is check of Mohan endorsed to Gopi. Who is receiving the check? Who is receiving the check? Gopi. So Gopi the receiver. 31. Gopi debit. Okay. So we endorse the check to Gopi. So Gopi is receiving. So Gopi debit. And from where? From our business. What thing is going out? From our business. What thing is going out, beta? Whatever the check in hand we receive. Now it will go out to Gopi. Check in hand account. Okay. So Gopi and check in hand will be all about the check amount 950 and 950. So check amount was 950. So we endorse the check amount only. So it will be 950, 950. This is what beta, this is all about the bank transaction. Now in the next, if you see any problem in particular transaction, please ask. This one is the first one. And this one is the second one. Okay. So whenever we receive the check and not deposited on the same day, which account will be open? Check in hand account, not bank account. Now we will proceed for the next topic. And next topic is what beta? Next topic is our opening. Just a minute. Next topic is all about the opening entry. Next topic is all about the opening entry. So the entry what we are passing first time when we open the year or when we commence the business, that is considered as a opening entry. Opening entry contain two things: assets and liability. Liability can be two types: outside liability and capital. Beta, assets is always what? Debit. Liability is always what beta? Liability and capital will be always credit. And double entry system is saying always that assets is equal to liability plus capital. So there should be always it's equal, that debit always should equal to credit. And if debit and credit is not coming equal, it means we had done some mistake. So what is the meaning of opening entry? It is very clear. At the starting of the year, as per your choice, whatever the year you are following, that on the particular first date, whatever the entry we are passing, that is known as opening entry. So what we have to do, we have to simply follow 3 steps. Step number 1, pass all the assets in debit side. Step number 2, pass all the liability holder in credit side. Okay. So whosoever is future receipt have some property, that will be categorized under the debit side. But the person who have a future payment only, no property is there, so that person will be credited on debit on the credit. So simple is there. If you have to understand something, that should be debit, and if you're not understanding that, it will be credit. Now step number 3. If your asset side, it means if your debit side is more, then in credit side you have to make balance. You have to make the balance. And how you can make the balance? Simple beta. If credit side is less, then if credit side is less, then we will make balance by opening capital account. Okay beta. So what we have to do? Simple. We have to pass all the entry whatever the given in the opening side in debit side. Whatever the liability we have, that will be passed in the credit side. And after that, if asset side is more than, asset side means if debit side is more than credit side, then what we have to do? We have to make the balance. We have to make the balance. So if credit side is less, then we will make the balance by opening capital account. Suppose debit side is coming 2000 and credit side is coming 1500. So extra 500 difference will be treated as a capital, and after that balance will be 2000, 2000, 2000 equal. This is the first thing. But second, if already capital is there, and then also credit side balance is there, then we cannot open the capital account because already capital account is there. So we will make the balance by opening capital reserve account. Okay. Achha, maybe the situation come like this, that if credit side is more than debit side, then how to make the balance? Then we will make the balance by opening goodwill account in debit side. Okay. So this is very simple thing beta. So simple steps are there. Pass all the amount in the assets amount in the debit side, pass all the liabilities amount in the credit side, find out the difference. If debit side is more, credit side is less, so we will make the balance in credit side by opening capital account. If already capital account is there, then also credit side have the balance, then it will be opened by capital reserve. And sometime your credit side is more and debit side is not having a sufficient amount. So how to make the balance? By opening the goodwill account in the debit side. Let's solve one question on this. So question is like this. In the question, assets is given to you. Cash 6,000, bank 10,000, debtors 40,000, stock 44,000, and furniture 40,000. Liability is also given in the question. Sometime in the question assets and liabilities are not specifically given. You have to find out that which content is the assets or which content is the liability. So liability here is creditors 30,000 and capital 1,10,000. Beta, if in this question credit side balance is there, already capital is given in the question. So if credit side balance is coming, it will be adjusted by opening capital reserve. Opening capital reserve. Okay. So how to solve this? Simple. Whatever the assets are there, pass the assets in the debit side. So cash account debit 6,000, bank account debit 10,000, debtors account debit 40,000. Stock is also assets, so stock account debit 44,000. And we have furniture account debit, how much beta? 40,000. Now in the above of that, when we use the debtors and debtors are there, they use the word beta sundry debtors. So two sundry creditors. Of sundry creditors we have how much beta? 30,000. So 30,000 you just write down. To capital account. Capital account is 1,10,000. Now what to do? So you just find out, because it is what? Opening balance. So it is your opening entry. So you just find out the total of this one and total of this one. So 1,10,000 plus 30, 1,40,000. What is the total of debit side? Find out. What is the total? But in debit side, this one is 1,40,000. Up in this opening entry, both are equal. Both are equal. But suppose a furniture is there. Furniture account debit. Assume question. Furniture account debit 40,000. Furniture is what? 40,000. Maybe a machine is there. Machine account debit 30,000. Cash account debit 10,000. So furniture account debit 40,000, machinery account debit 30,000, cash account debit 10,000. In the above of that, it is there 2 creditors 20,000. अब देखो जी what possible situations can be. The total of debit side is 40 plus 30, 70 plus 10, 80,000. Out of 80,000, how much creditors withdraw the money? 20,000. How much creditors withdraw the money, beta? 20,000. So furniture account debit 40,000, machinery account debit 30,000, cash account debit 10,000. So what is the total of all that? 40, 30 plus 10, 80,000. And what is the total of credit is 20,000. So we can say that our debit side is more than the credit side. In credit side, any capital is there? No, sir. So whatever the balance is coming in the credit side, that will be adjusted by opening capital account. So 80 minus 20, 60,000 will be the opening capital account. But suppose there are 40 plus 30 plus 10, 80,000, credit is 20,000, capital is also 50,000. Suppose capital is given in this question also 50,000. So what will we do? Furniture account debit 40,000, machinery account debit 30,000, cash account debit 10,000. 2 creditors 20,000. Up suppose in this question capital is also given. 2 capital account 50,000. Now you see that total of debit side is coming how much beta? 1,40,000. And this side, sorry, not 1,40,000, just a minute, let me correct. Yeah, 40 plus 30 plus 10, it will come how much? 80,000. And this side total is coming how much beta? 70,000. So what the person will do? Person will transfer the difference amount as to capital reserve. Kitna bhai? 10,000. 50 plus 20 plus 10, 80 is equal to 80. Okay. So whenever debit side is less, then it will be adjusted by opening goodwill account beta. When credit side is less, then it will be opened by capital account or capital reserve. It totally depend. It's totally depend on the nature of transaction. Just a minute. So I think this one is clear. So when your debit side is less, then it will be adjusted by opening goodwill account. And when your credit side is less, it will be either opened by capital account, and if capital account is given, then it will be adjusted by opening capital reserve. Now one more content is, and that is what beta? That is the compound entry. Okay, so let's clear the board, and our next topic for today is compound entry. What is the compound entry? If the similar nature transaction, with same debit or same credit, ठीक है, with same debit or same credit will be recorded on the same day, then instead of recorded differently, it can be recorded with together. It can be recorded with together means it can be recorded as single entry. So understand this concept, that if the similar transaction, like suppose purchase there, like suppose cash is there, like suppose transaction with RAM is suppose drawing and rent, all content, both are debit. So if similar nature transaction with same debit as same credit, that should be very important. Two things are very important. The transaction should be there with the same debit as same credit, and both should be on the same date only. Then only, instead of recording the different entries, we can write down the compound entry. How it can be? See the solution. See one just assumed question. Cash received from RAM 5,000. Or beta cash received from commission, and both take the date on January 16. Beta, if simple, we will pass separate entry. So cash received from RAM 5,000. What entry will pass? Cash account debit to RAM. How much by 5,000 and 5,000. Now second entry we will pass cash received from commission. Again beta cash is coming, cash account debit, and it is coming for what? It is coming for to commission. Now you can see if both our transactions are taking place on 16, what thing is common? Both have cash, but both have cash in the similar side. Cash account debit, cash account debit. So now instead of writing down different transaction at the same time, we can write down combinedly. So how we can see that both cash received from RAM 5,000, entry will be cash account debit to RAM, because cash is coming in the business, debit was coming, and who is giving the amount beta? RAM is giving the amount. So 5,000 and 5,000. Next one is cash received from commission. So what thing is coming in the business? Cash is coming in the business. So it will be cash account debit. Cash account debit. And it is coming for what? It is coming for commission. So to commission. Getting my point? Cash received from RAM. Cash is coming in the business. Debit was coming. Who is giving the cash? RAM is giving the cash. So RAM will be created. And second one is cash received from commission. So what thing is coming in the business beta? Cash is coming in the business. So cash account will be debit. And it is coming for what? It is coming for commission. Commission is our income, revenue. And all the income, revenue and gains are created. That's why to what? Commission. Now, how we can pass the compound entry? देखो जी, on a similar date with a similar nature, two transactions are there. In both transactions, cash one is common. So we will write down cash one time, and we will write down and total all the cash total. So 5,000 plus 2,000. Total is how many beta? 7,000. Okay. So it will be 7,000. Now how much RAM had given? 5,000, and how much commission is 2,000. So what we had done, the common things will be right together. Common things will be right together, and whatever the remaining, like this one, that will be, can be recorded, can be present, can be added later on also. So this much is for today beta. I hope that you learned a lot. We had discussed what? We had discussed the remaining banking transaction, which is also very important. We had discussed the bad debts recovered. So we had discussed the bad debts also, and we had discussed finally the content, how to pass the opening entry, how to pass the compound entry. So for opening entry beta, always remember, if debit side is less, goodwill account debit. If credit side is less, then if capital is not given, then full amount will be transferred to capital. But if any particular amount is given, then full amount will be not transferred to capital, it will be transferred respectively. Okay, so this much for today. Thank you very much. In the next